Nehemiah 13, verse 26 says, "Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin."
Yeah, the question is, I know I went back and forth with you and asking questions about the status of the spiritual condition of King Solomon. And I even posted in Q&A, but I see more and more, I see this verse here, he was beloved of his God.
Right.
Okay? And I also understand that he represented the corporate church because in the beginning he was faithful, but at his old age, because mainly, not because of his own, but because of his wife's, they turned his heart away from the Lord, and he built temples for his wife's God.
So his wives made him do it. That's what you're saying.
Yeah. Otherwise he would
Well,
have done. So, but you see, he was beloved of his God. I mean, if God loves you, then God cannot say, nowhere else in the Bible I see that he was a wicked king. And so this is an ongoing thing that I am.
Well, I understand your trouble, because there are a couple of statements like this that normally especially Solomon, his name means peace. He's a son of David. There's the whole issue of when he is put into power with the co-regency with David, that there was another son of David that wanted to be king at that time, and we could tell he's a wicked man, and God worked it out so that Solomon was the one, and the kingdom was blessed with peace, and God speaks of giving him wisdom, and the Lord used him to write Proverbs, Ecclesiastes, Song of Solomon. So there's a lot of things to look at. But when we come down to it, it's just I think God has used all this language to warn us that no matter how faithful we maybe have been or appear to be, and like for example, I think there's some people they're living off of the fact that they were family radio listeners. They were under the hearing of Mr. Camping. And they've been living off of that because I think it's a fact that God used family radio and Mr. Camping during that period of time to bring the true gospel, and the elect were being greatly blessed by that ministry at that time. Yet now there's numbers of people that have gone back to former doctrines and teachings, and you still, strangely, you still see them making references to Mr. Camping. There's one guy in particular, and he'll tell you how much he loves Mr. Camping, and he loved his teaching and everything, and yet this same guy despises me. He pretty much loathes me, and he can't stand me. And it's mainly because of doctrine, and yet the doctrine that E-Bible teaches, that I teach, is probably 80% of what Family Radio used to teach, and what Mr. Camping used to teach, and some of the same things that this guy will rail against. And I just keep shaking my head. You ever hear that expression, with friends like this, meet enemies? Oh, I love Mr. Camping. And then he hates the teachings of Mr. Camping. And I think this is a warning that God has placed there, that we can't trust in what we've done. Or how about individuals? I mean, we had an excellent track trip report, and I love handing out tracts, and it's a great thing for a child of God to be involved with. But I know people that have gone on many trips. I don't know how many exactly, maybe a couple dozen or more. And they've used their own money, their own resources, and you would think, wow, they've used their time, their money, they gave of themselves so greatly, and same thing. They've gone. And so the thing about living as one of God's people, and it's why the Lord made that statement, he that endureth to the end is saved, is because it's nice, it's good that you made it 90% of the way, when you're running the race. It's wonderful that you ran a good race, you ran an excellent race for 90% of the way, but you're not finishing, you're not completing, and that we can't live off of past obedience or past circumstances or past anything. It's today that the Lord is speaking to us, and he would have us take up our cross and follow him. And if we're not doing it today, we can't go to God and say, well, Lord, remember when I went there and I did this? That doesn't mean anything. And so here we have a man who could, he would have a case. He would have a case. Well, Lord, when I prayed to you that time, I asked for wisdom to rule over this people. I didn't ask for riches and fame. You just gave that to me. He could make an excellent case. And yet in 1 Kings 11, verse 1, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonites, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Jehovah said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in unto them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And then we're told he had 700 princesses, 300 concubines. At the end of verse 3, and his wives turned away his heart. That's the second time in these verses. For it came to pass, Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect. That is the revealing statement that, David, a man after God's own heart, and all those that are saved are men after God's own heart, because we receive a new heart that is patterned after the heart of Christ, that is obedient.
So he was like the nation of Israel, who was loved by God in the beginning.
You could go to Ezekiel 16, and God takes the harlot and dresses her up, and then she gets all muddy or involved in dirty things. Thank you.